Hi everyone, my name is Liang Weijie, and today I'll be sharing about the global fight against HIV. HIV, or human immunodeficiency virus, is a virus that attacks the immune system, specifically the CD4 cells, which is the white blood cells that defend our body from infections. If left untreated, HIV progresses to AIDS, where the immune system becomes so weak that even minor infections can become life-threatening. Now, let's look at Singapore's HIV status. According to the Ministry of Health, in 2022, there were 202 newly reported HIV cases, bringing the total number of people living with HIV to an estimated of 9,331. If you look at the long-term trend, Singapore's first HIV case was reported in 1985, when the incidence rate was just 0.1 per 100,000 population. Over the next 2 decades, HIV incidence increased almost 100-fold, reaching a peak of 12.8 per 100,000 in 2008. Since then, the rate has been decreasing steadily, falling to 5 per 100,000 by 2022, which is a 60.9% reduction from the peak. Looking deeper into Singapore data, the 30 to 39 age group recorded the highest number of new HIV diagnoses, which is 45 male and 3 female cases. Other age groups like those aged 40 to 49 and 50 to 59 also showed notable numbers, but the 30 to 39 group remains the most affected. Overall, 90.4% of new HIV cases were male, while 9.6% were female. When we break it down to mode of transmission, the majority of new infections, which is 59%, occurred among the men who have sex with men, followed by heterosexual transmission. There were also small numbers of cases linked to drug use, blood transfusion, and parent-to-child transmission, but they were rare. These data shows that although Singapore has made strong progress, HIV transmission remains concentrated among specific groups, emphasizing the need of continued awareness and targeted prevention. When HIV is left untreated, it eventually progresses to AIDS, which is acute immunodeficiency syndrome. At that stage, the immune system becomes too weak to prevent infections, leading to death from opportunistic diseases. Globally, this has taken a devastating toll, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa. In countries such as Mozambique, HIV or AIDS is still the leading cause of death, even surpassing COVID-19 and malaria. In 2021, about 12.6% of adults in Mozambique were living with HIV, showing how heavily the epidemic still affects sub-Saharan Africa. But there is also hope. In 2003, the US launched the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, which is the PEPFAR, which is a major global funding initiative for HIV treatment and prevention. This was a turning point. Since then, global HIV death has dropped drastically as millions gain access to antiretroviral therapy, which is in short, ART. Globally, the shaded portion of the trend line represents death averted, millions of lives saved because of ART. The effectiveness of ART can also be proven statistically. There's a strong correlation of 0.971 between ART coverage and viral suppression rates. As more people receive ART, more achieve viral suppression, meaning they can live normally and cannot transmit the virus. In 2021, the United Nations introduced the 95-95-95 targets. That is, by 2025, 95% of people living with HIV should know their status, 95% of those diagnosed should be receiving treatment, and 95% of those on treatment should have a suppressed viral load. By 2024, we have reached 87%, 89%, and 94% respectively, which still have some space before reaching the goal. Prevention also plays a key role. Since 2020, the number of people starting pre-exposure prophylaxis, which is a PrEP, a preventive medicine that reduces HIV transmission by up to 99% through sexual contact, has been showing an increasing trend. Finally, none of this progress is possible without funding. From 2000 to 2019, global HIV funding increased from USD 4 billion to nearly 20 billion, but there is still a $7.1 billion gap between available resources and what's needed to end AIDS by 2030. This gap threatens to slow progress in low-income countries, making sustained international cooperation vital. In conclusion, the fight against HIV is far from over, but it's a fight that we are steadily winning. If we continue to invest, educate, and support one another, the vision of a world free from AIDS by 2030 can truly be achieved. Thank you.